Good morning, everyone. I'm Apeksha, Assistant Professor in Indraprasth Law College, and today we'll be starting with Unit 2, which is Preamble of the Constitution. In the first unit, we have done with nature of the Constitution. Now we are starting Preamble. Here, what is a preamble? So this reads whole as a preamble. Let us read it. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign socialist, secular democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. So, this is whole which reads as the preamble. This is the preamble of Indian Constitution. Now, this is here we'll understand each and every word like meaning of sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic. What does this individually we'll understand what is the meaning of them. But first, what do we mean by preamble? Now, preamble of Indian Constitution gives a brief introduction statement of the Constitution. It is for the guiding purpose. It is a guiding principle and a philosophy of Indian Constitution. So the basic question which first comes to your mind is that what is a preamble? It is an introductory statement in a document that explains the document's philosophy and objective. Now this means that preamble is meant, by preamble we meant a preliminary or an introductory statement either in speech or writing. So it is a introductory statement. We can say it is a preliminary or an introductory statement. Or we can also say that preamble is a key to open the minds of the maker of the act and the mischief which they intended to redress. As the last line says, in our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. So, in our Constituent Assembly, the 26th day of November 1949, the preamble was adopted, enacted, and was given to the Constitution. Now there are so many things which are indicated by this preamble. There are so many meanings to all of these words which are written in bold. Republic, justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. So many things indicated by the preamble. They are the source of authority of Constitution which lies with the people of India. Now, preamble declares India to be a sovereign, socialist, secular, and democratic republic. It is declaring India a sovereign, socialist, a secular, and democratic republic. Whereas, if I talk about the objectives stated by the preamble, what are the objectives which are stated by the preamble? They are to secure the justice, liberty, equality to all the citizens, and to promote fraternity to maintain unity and integrity of the nation. So, there are few components, we can say, like there are four things starting from this whole we can understand. The first part, that is we the people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute India. This simply indicates that preamble. It is indicated by the preamble that the source of authority of the constitution, it lies with the people of India. We the people of India. Then the second point, that preamble declare India to be sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic. Then moving on to the objectives, the republic, the objective which is given in this preamble, we can say as the objective, they are to secure the justice, liberty, equality to all the citizens, and at the last, promoting the fraternity, to maintain the unity and integrity of the nation. And the last point which we can say is given in the preamble is the date is mentioned as to when it was adopted, which is 26th November 1949. So this is the whole preamble. Introductory statement in a document which explains the document's philosophy and objective, we can say that. In a constitution, it is second point, in a constitution, it present the intention of its framer and the history behind its creation, the core value and principle of the nation. Here, these are the four components, as I told you. That is indicated by the preamble, the source of authority of constitution, it lies with people of India, the first. Then secondly, preamble declare India to be sovereign, socialist, secular and democratic republic. And then the objectives are listed, and finally the date. Now moving on to the main part, that is the keywords in the preamble. That is how we will be understanding as to what does it say. So the first word is sovereign, right? If you see here the preamble, sovereign is the first word. We the people of India have a solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign. What is this meaning of sovereign? This term means that India has its own independent authority and it is not a dominion of any other external power. In the country, the legislature has the power to make laws which are subject to certain limitations. So it means that India has its own independent authority. As it says, sovereign here means India is a sovereign state, right? Sovereignty here means that it has its own independent authority. It has its own independent authority. Which means that is not subject to any other control. India is an independent authority and is not under anyone's control. What does the exact meaning of sovereign? It means sovereign means a supreme ruler or a monarch we can say. So a ruler. So this term, when we say sovereignty of people of India, that's what the preamble says. That we the people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign. So it means sovereign here, this term means a supreme ruler. Now who is the supreme ruler? Who have its own independent authority and no external power or force. It is not dominion of any other external power. And the legislature in the country, the legislature will have the power to make the laws. That's what sovereignty here meant. Moving on to the next word. So sovereign, if it is clear, sovereign means the independent authority of a state. It also means that it has the power to legislate on any subject, and that it is not subject to the control of any other state or any external power. Simple. And according to the preamble, Constitution of India has the people of India to constitute India into a sovereign democratic republic. So sovereignty here denotes supreme and ultimate power. It can be real or normal or a legal, political, individual, pluralistic. So in monarchies, sovereignty was vested in the person of monarch. But when we talk about the republican form of government, then the sovereignty it is shifted to the elected representatives of the people. So sovereign or a supreme power is something which is absolute and it is uncontrolled within its own sphere. And therefore, it is said that sovereignty means the independent authority of a state. Moving on to the next word. So sovereignty is well clear. Socialist. Now, meaning of socialist. The term means the achievement of socialist end through democratic means. So it means this term socialist is referred to the democratic socialism. Now what is this? This means that achievement of socialist goals through democratic, evolutionary and non-violent means. So it basically means that as we know that wealth is generated socially. Since this wealth is generated socially, then wealth should also be shared equally by the society through this distributive justice, and it should not be concentrated in just few hands. And so the government should regulate the ownership of land, the industry, to reduce the socio-economic inequalities. This is what the socialist word here indicates, that socio-economic inequalities should not be there, should be reduced. So we have to, and this term means the achievement of the socialist end through democratic means. Through democratic, evolutionary and the non-violent means. The wealth should not be concentrated in just few hands. It should be shared equally by the society. So the term socialist is an important one. Moving But this word was added by the 42nd Amendment, and this socialist state, it aims to secure the people justice, social, economic and political. Right? Then moving to the very important word secular. Now what is the meaning of secular? Now this was also added by the 42nd Constitution Amendment Act. This was added by the amendment, 42nd Constitutional Amendment 1976. It simply says, it's secular, see, this simply says that state shall have no religion of its own, and all persons shall be equally entitled to freedom of conscience and right freely to profess and practice and propagate the religion. So in literal sense, this term, secular term, means which is something not connected with the religious or spiritual matters, or not subject to be bound by a religious rule. So India is a secular country, which highlights that state shall not have any religion. They should not, like, we cannot say India is a unlike Pakistan, like it is a Islamic country. So it's not secular, but India is a secular country. All kinds of religions are here, be it Hindu, Muslims, Buddhist, Sikh, Christians. So we cannot say that India is just a Hindu country or a Muslim country or a Islam, that for Islamic state or like that. Unlike other countries, for example Pakistan, so India is a secular country, which says that the state shall have no religion of its own, and all the person of India, they will have freedom to profess their religion, to practice it, and to propagate it. So through 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, the word secular was inserted. Then, so I am just explaining you the meaning of these terms. Democratic. Now what do we mean by democratic? It refers to the form of government. The term implies that the Constitution of India has an established form of constitution, which gets its authority from the will of people expressed in an election. So, in literal sense, democratic means the basic meaning of democracy, government by the people. So a government in which the supreme power is vested in the people, and it is exercised by them directly or indirectly through a system of representation. This is what democratic here means. Then republic. Republic implies an elected head of the state. So the term indicates that the head of the state is elected by the people. In India, President of India is the elected head of the state. So the term republic implies an elected head of the state, and in India we have president. So this is quite clear. This is a crux as to what was the meaning of these how many words? 5 words: sovereign, socialist, and sovereign and independent authority. Socialist, the wealth has to be shared equally. Secular, no religion. Democratic, people would be choosing. Republic, head of the state. These 5 words are very important. Now again, if I read it, give a reading and you'll understand that we the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. Now moving, after understanding the keywords in this preamble, will be understanding the objective of Indian Constitution. What is the objective? See, the Constitution is the supreme law and it helps to maintain integrity in the society. The first point, the Constitution is the supreme law and it helps to maintain integrity in the society and to promote unity among the citizens to build a great nation. Now, the main objective of Indian Constitution is to promote harmony throughout the nation. The factor, second point, which help in achieving this objective are justice. Now, what are the, in order to achieve this objective, justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. We'll be understanding them. So starting with justice, it is necessary to maintain an order in society that is promised through various provision of fundamental rights and directive principle of state policy provided by the Constitution of India. It comprises 3 elements, which is social, economic and political. So the preamble, justice here implies a harmonious reconcilement of the individual conduct with the welfare, general welfare of the society. Now, what is the importance of this justice is to attain the attainment of the common good. So the preamble promises justice to all citizens, and preamble also places justice higher than the other principle of liberty, equality and fraternity. This concept of justice is very wide in the preamble. It is not confined to the narrow legal justice which is given by the courts, administered by the courts. So justice is defined and is elaborated as a social and economic and political. Social justice, now what does we mean by social? The 3 things I have said: social, economic and political justice. So justice, first thing you understand, here the term justice simply is not confined to the narrow legal justice. It is defined or elaborated as a social, economic and political. Now starting with what is social justice? See, read it. Social justice means that the Constitution wants to create a society without discrimination on any grounds like caste, creed, gender, religion, etc. So social justice implies that all citizens are treated equally, irrespective of their status in the society, which is a result of their birth, race, caste, religion, sex, title, etc. Anything. So social justice here means that all the citizens are treated equally, whether they are born to any caste, any gender, any creed, any religion, they have to be treated equally. Then moving to the economic justice, what does this economic justice mean? So economic justice means no discrimination can be caused by the people on the basis of their wealth, income and economic status. So economic justice, it would require that the rich and the poor are treated alike. They are treated the same, and efforts have to be meant to bridge that gap. So every person must be paid equal for an equal position, and all people must get opportunities to earn. Where is it gone? Yeah, to earn for their living. This is what economic justice is meant. See, again, I'll explain you. Social justice implies that all the citizens are treated equally, irrespective of their status, their caste, their creed, their religion. Then economic justice, it means that no discrimination can be caused by the people on their basis of wealth, income and economic status. So here rich and poor are to be treated like they are to be treated equally. Here in economic we are seeing justice has to be done. Then in social, irrespective of their status in the society, and in economic, rich and poor are to be treated alike, and there have to be efforts made to bridge that gap. So I hope this is quite clear what is social justice and what is economic justice meant. Then political justice, it means equal share to all citizens in their right. So political justice means all the people have an equal and free and fair right without any discrimination to participate in political opportunity. It means that equal share to all the citizens in the right to participation in political process without any distinction of the race, caste, creed, religion or the place of birth, anything. So the very first point, justice, the objective, if we are understanding of the objective of this political system, then justice, the preamble has placed justice higher than any other principle, and the other principles are liberty, equality and fraternity. Justice is very important, and the preamble promises justice to all the citizens. Then the word is liberty, equality, liberty, fraternity. So equality, this concept of equality, you see, if I read the term equality, means no section of society has any special privileges and all the people have given equal opportunity for everything without any discrimination. Everyone is equal before the law. So this is quite clear, equality, the meaning of it. But the concept of equality which is given in Constitution is only that of equality of status and opportunity. This has a legal and social and political and economic aspects. So this equality here means that all the citizens are equal before law and enjoy equal protection of the laws of the land. Now all citizens are equally entitled to enjoy the political rights, to vote, to participate in the process of this governance without any distinction or any discrimination. And so there can be no discrimination between one person and another on any of the ground of the same things, religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth, in the matter of access to public places and public employment. So the equality term here denotes many things. So when I say that equality does not simply mean that all human beings are equal and mentally and physically, it signifies equality of status, the status of free individual and the equality of opportunity. What did I just said the status of free individual and equality of opportunity. So this, see, equality of status and equality of opportunity. How can we uh, this equality of status is provided by prohibiting these artificial restrictions which are on the grounds of religion, race, sex, color, place of residence and other things. By prohibition of untouchability, abolition of titles and all, and at the same time equality of opportunity is provided by guaranteeing the rule of law, which signifies the equality before law and the non-discrimination in the matter of public employment. So this is what whole equality here means, the concept of equality. Then the term liberty. Now here though both of these words, liberty and equality, are they're complementary, right? So liberty in preamble, it does not mean mere absence of restraint or the domination. It is a positive concept of the right to liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship. A positive concept. Now liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, it is further elaborated in fundamental rights. It is given. But the term liberty here means freedom for the people to choose their way of life, have political views and behavior in society. So liberty means freedom for the people to choose their life. They have their political views, behavior, and it just does not mean freedom to do anything. See, a person can do anything, but is limited. The limit is set by the law. Then fraternity. The final word is the fraternity. So by this term we understand the spirit of brotherhood, the promotion. You see, the spirit of brotherhood. Term fraternity means a feeling of brotherhood, an emotional attachment with the country and all the people. Fraternity helps to promote dignity and unity in the nation. So simple. It is, fraternity is understood as a spirit of brotherhood. This is to promote this thing. It is absolutely essential in our country, as it is composed of many people of many races and religion. Now the word dignity is of moral and spiritual, and it imposes a moral obligation on the part of the union to respect personality of the citizen and to create the condition of the work which will make sure that which will ensure the self-respect. So this fraternity is brotherhood, then liberty, equality, economic, political justice, it all comes under justice. These are the objectives of the Indian Constitution. And finally, the date is given on our preamble. Where is the preamble? Here. In the last, after fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution. So that's it. This was the whole preamble, and at last, in the end, I'll read it again. Now we have understood all the meaning of these terms, which are all given under bold. We the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens what? Justice, social, economic and political. I have told all the meaning, these three meanings. Then liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship. then equality of status and opportunity, and to promote among them, promoting what? Fraternity, that is brotherhood, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity, which will assure the unity and integrity of the nation is there. Then in our Constituent Assembly, this day, we hereby give to ourselves this constitution. That's it. So this was about the preamble, and in the next one, we'll continue to understand more about it. Thank you.